All right, this is some help with quiz 6.05. Now, this quiz, there are 3 problems that are all going to be very similar. This is geometry on Earth. So the first 3 problems, you're going to be doing the same way. They give you the Earth's radius. So if you look at a sphere from the middle to the edge of the sphere, that radius doesn't change. It's always going to be this 3,959 miles. And so what they do with the difference, notice that you've got a right triangle here. So the radius is the same. So this leg of the triangle is 3959. And then notice this is your hypotenuse. And so the distance from here to here, that's probably not a good color, but that distance is 3959. So they're always going to be giving you this extra distance that's out here. So they say determine the distance x to the horizon from a viewpoint that is 8 miles above the Earth's surface. So this section here is what's going to be the 8. So let's see, let me get the right color here. So from here to here is 8. You're looking for this distance d here, so that's your x value. So for all of these, you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is c squared. And this will always be your c squared right here, or your c value. Remember, the c value is always opposite the right angle, your hypotenuse. So you're simply going to plug in what you've been given, 3959 squared, plus b squared, or that's our x, that's what we're looking for, is equal to this distance. So we have to add 3959 plus 8. And that's going to give us this right here, 3967. You'll square this. You'll get this very large number, 15,673,681. You're going to subtract it to the other side. And then square this number. You get this number here, subtract this. And then that gives you the this side squared. 63,408. So then you have to use your calculator, take the square root of both sides. And when you take the square root of both sides, then you will get, let's see, let me fix my color here. Well, there we go. All right, so take the square root of both sides and you get 251.8, and then just make sure you're aware how they want you to round it. This says round to the nearest mile, so since this is 5 or greater, we're going to round up to 252. And like I said, questions 1, 2, and 3 are all very similar, where you're going to be using the same formula. Question number 4 is going to ask you about a cylinder. And so here it says a 5-meter tall tree trunk measures 4.61 meters around. Use the cylinder formula to approximate the volume of the tree. So when they give you this distance around, that is going to be the circumference. Remember, when you measure, if we were to look at this tree at the end, we have a circle here. And so that circle is going to be the distance around the circle, remember, is our circumference formula. So the first step here is you're going to use the circumference formula to find the radius, because in the volume, here's the volume of a cylinder, pi r squared h. They've given us our h as 5, but we need our r, and they've given us the circumference. So we'll plug in 4.71 for the circumference. 3.14 for pi. And remember, don't use your pi button when they tell you to use 3.14, because you'll get a slightly different rounding, and that will make you miss the question if it's a fill in the blank. So here I've just divided both sides by 3.14. So our diameter is 1.5, and then remember, to get your radius, you simply divide by 2. So our radius is 0.75. So plug this into the formula, 3.14. In your calculator, you'll square 0.75 and then multiply by 5, and you'll get 8.83. This says round to the nearest cubic meter, so we would round up to 9. Some of the problems might tell you to enter as a decimal, which means you don't need to round it, but make sure you're putting in the right number for your calculator. Don't use your pi button. Use 3.14. The last problem is going to be a problem on volume. This is a sample problem. I've changed the numbers, so don't use this exact example. A child's pool is in the shape of a rectangular prism with a height of 3 feet, a base that is 6 feet wide and 8 feet long. During the course of the summer, the child's pool needed to be filled 4 times. How many cubic feet of water were needed to fill the pool during the summer? So all you have to do for this one is first find the volume for one time that you're going to fill it, and then you're going to multiply by 4. So the volume of a prism, remember, is the length times the width times the height. So they've given us all that, 3 times 6 times 8. When we multiply that, that gives us 144 cubic feet. When we multiply feet times feet times feet, that's cubic feet. And then we're going to fill that 4 times. So we'll multiply by 4, and that will give us a total that was filled this summer of 576 cubic feet. Hope this helps.